Good afternoon, traders. How's everybody doing? All right, traders, welcome. So what we're going to talk about today is just that. We're going to talk about how to take something that is incredible, apply it to your own trading business, hold you accountable to that trading business, and help you scale. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I appreciate you taking time with us as always. This is Jim Simmons, and what we're going to show you is, again, the Alpha Trading Syndicate. This program is built around a very simple idea. Traders don't need another disconnected strategy, another indicator, more information, or another course sitting in their library somewhere on their PC. They need a complete trading operation. What that means is assessment, strategy, coaching, systems, accountability, and measurable results working together. ATS is designed to help you identify what fits you, because what I trade might be different from what Sean trades, might be different from what Jason trades, or Jeff or Jeffrey. Everybody trades a little bit differently. But when you build the right process around what actually works for you, you execute that process with professional execution, and then you scale it over time. Okay, that's what we're after today. I've been trading for 18 years. I've also spent roughly 10 years of that struggling, breaking even, changing strategies and indicators, and trying to solve the problems. I know what it's like to put in serious effort and feel like you're still in the same place. Does anybody else relate with that? You've spent time, you've spent money, you've learned systems, you bought indicators, you bought tools, you bought trade rooms, and it just hasn't played out for you. Anybody else? How many of you guys are there right now? Put a yes in the chat box if that's you. Okay. All right. So this program is for you. So everybody who's saying yes right now, this program is for you. We built this program around this entire idea. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. Before we get too far, of course, we need to cover the risk disclaimer. Trading involves risk. There's no guarantee of profits, payouts, funded accounts, future performance. Any examples, trade results, testimonials, or hypothetical results shown today are for educational and informational purposes only. You are responsible for your own trading decisions, position risk, tolerance, account management, etc. Take a moment to view the disclaimer. Once you are good to go, give me a yes in the chat box, and we'll keep moving forward. Okay. All right, so here's our agenda. First, we're going to talk about why most traders struggle. We're going to spend a little bit of time there. I don't want to spend a ton of time there because everybody knows that side of it, right? Everybody likes to talk about it. But we're going to talk about solutions today. But most traders struggle even after they spent years learning and buying tools. We're going to talk about the hidden cost of trying to solve these issues on your own. From there, we're going to walk through the ATS framework, the 7 pillars that hold this program together. We're also going to look at real strategy examples, actual documented trade results, and then we're going to look at the process that we use to help traders build a professional operation. Okay. At the end, we'll explain next steps so that you can move forward. Let me check the mic, make sure we got volume. Sometimes the volume gets a little quiet on my mic. Let's see. Let's turn this up. How's that? A little bit better? Got a little bit more coming out on the sound? Good. All right, good. So let's look at what is the dream outcome. Let's start with what are traders trying to accomplish. And most traders, you're not here because you want to stare at a chart all day, even though they're very beautiful and shiny, but you want consistent profits, consistent payouts, growing your accounts, financial freedom, confidence in your decision, control over your time. That's why everybody got into trading in the first place. The problem is that traders chase these outcomes through isolated tactics. They buy another strategy, another indicator. We've all talked about that. None of that creates a business. The ATS approach is to build the operation behind the outcome. That includes a personalized roadmap, proven systems, expert coaching, accountability, measurable progress, and structure that you can scale with. So trading is not about taking more trades. It's about building a process that can produce results without consuming your entire life. Okay. This is about building freedom. Yeah, James, send it to support. There's absolutely, we can help you with that. And you're welcome to reach out to me if you'd like. That's fine. But we're going to spend our time focusing on the trading side here today. Okay, so if you guys have any tech issues, things like that, send them off to support. Yep. If you've done that, great. Keep sending them stuff or continue to chase them down. Support if you're here.
I'll
Please.
chime in on that for a second, Jim. So we've got some really great news. We found out what was causing the ghost orders and any issues with closed trades. So anybody that's ever had experiences with that, it's been fixed. It's in final QA, and we're going to be releasing a new build very soon. We've identified the copier issues, and it was due to the risk manager settings. So anybody that had any issues, it's been fixed, but we just don't want to send out the build until we're 100% sure that it's absolutely fixed. So guys,
Good.
that's it. No more comments on tech. It's already been handled. It'll be sent out this week.
Good news. Good news. With that said, trader to trader, don't let anything hold you back from the profitability that you deserve as a trader. Don't let tech issues and things like that. There's always something that we can point to that says, that's why I'm struggling, right? So here's my encouragement to you. Just trader to trader. And look, I get it. There's going to be tech things and things like that, but the focus that we have is on how do we become better traders and focus on that side. Okay. Looking at the system one and done. How many of you are familiar with one and done? Most everybody in our community has heard of this one. It's a very popular trading strategy and for good reason. We've documented 856 trades, more now, and 86% win rate. These numbers are not pulled from an estimate. They're not pulled from a back test. They're pulled from detailed trade logs. And we've documented those trades and we have images of every single trade. I'm showing you this early to show you that there is the possibility of getting these type of numbers and not on a small scale, not 100, 200 trades, 856 trades. If you had if you had 2 winners every day to start your day, do you really need to keep trading, right? If you have 1 winner to start your day, do you need to keep trading? That's the idea behind the one and done. Make your money, go live your life, right? It's a very popular strategy that we trade. Let's talk about the real cost of going alone. We know, how many of you could say, okay, trading's hard. We've heard it before and we've heard all those numbers and it doesn't matter what the number is. You are not the numbers, okay? So disconnect yourself with the idea that trading is hard. Get it out of your head. Disconnect yourself with the idea that X% of traders don't make it because that's not going to be you. The sooner we can recognize that we deserve success and we can have success, the sooner that we can realize that success. Okay, so the years of trial and error, how many of you can relate with this? Blown accounts, failed evaluations, strategy hopping, random courses, expensive mistakes, lost years of progress. It gets expensive. This business can be expensive. It can also be incredibly rewarding when you get to the other side. And that's what ATS is built on. A personalized roadmap. We understand where you're at today, where you've been, and where you're going to be tomorrow. And then we build an entire plan around you. Everybody's experience in ATS is going to be different because every trader is different. That's how it should be. So personalized roadmap. We're going to show you exactly what you need to learn to enhance your trading and to trade your strategy. We're going to give you professional guidance led by traders who all have north of a decade and at least a decade and a half in many cases of trading experience. These are the traders that are going to help you. These are the traders that you have behind you. And it's not just one. There's an entire team of us to help you in this process. Faster implementation. How many of you want to wait 6 months to start making money? How many of you would rather start making money next week? Yeah, exactly. Avoid costly mistakes. You don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know, right? That's the idea. We're going to help you avoid those mistakes. Why? Because we've made them. We've been there, done that. We've done all those things. We want to save you the pain and anguish. We want to save you the pain of breaking even for 10 years, and we can do that. Most importantly, to help you accelerate your results. Because again, we're not interested in waiting another 3 months, 2 months, even a month to start making money. And we're going to look at how we do that. One of the ways that we do that is by trading striker levels. Striker levels are options levels for futures trading. We've logged 645 trades with a 77% win rate. Here's an example of a trade. What is the strongest level? It's the one that goes to the left the furthest. Which one should we trade? The one that goes to the left the furthest. And that's the best trade. What about information? You all have lots of information. Most of you could probably teach us all something. Most of you have tons of information. You've learned tons of stuff, and yet you've recognized that it did not equate to more money. It equated to, I know why I'm losing in some cases, and many cases, no, but you see things, but how many of you know what to do, but you still don't do it? Anybody here in that camp? I know what I'm supposed to do, but I still don't do it. Anybody? Anybody been there before? Give me a yes in the chat box if that's you. Would like to keep things pretty interactive. Yeah. I know I shouldn't take this trade, but I do. I know I shouldn't move my stop, but I do. So it's not a matter of knowledge. We know in many cases what to do and not to do. What we need is somebody to hold our feet to the flame and say, stop doing that. Because trading, you're all alone. There's nobody looking over your shoulder unless you join ATS. There's nobody showing you, oh, you look what you did. You did it again. Some of you know that. Some of you just bury your head in the sand and pretend that you're not making the mistakes that you are. And that's where we come in to help you through that process. We're here to help you simplify. Simpler is better. Anybody got a complicated trading strategy? Oh yeah, mine's really complicated. And how is that going for you? If you can't even recognize a signal because it takes you 10 minutes to figure out if you have a trade or not, the trade's gone. It's over. So we're going to simplify things. What is the fastest way to get from point A to point B? A straight line. So should we make a zigzag to get to point A to point B? No, we should probably simplify. The same is true when it comes to trading and making money. The simplest way to making money in trading, the fastest way, is to keep things simple. We're going to help you perfect your process. We're going to help you perfect your execution. We're going to help give you measurable results. Most importantly, we're going to help you improve. Many traders, when they set goals, they say, I want to make this much money in this much time. It's a good goal to have, but don't put an expiration on it. Your focus today as a trader is, how do I get better every day? Because in getting a little bit better every day, we start to see incremental and accumulated improvements as we go. We're going to help you scale, and then we're going to help you keep scaling. More information doesn't create better trades or better traders. Execution, systems, process, that does. To be honest, most traders don't really have any business creating their own trade plan. It's not a knock. It's just, when you haven't seen all of the input of what goes into creating that trade plan, when you don't know the mistakes that you haven't made yet because you haven't made them yet, two heads are better than one. And those heads are going to help you put together a much better trade plan so that you can execute better, so that you stop doing the things that you know you're not supposed to be doing. And it comes down to believing in what you're doing. And many traders don't have that, which is why they break their rules. Okay. Trend breaker. It's a nice system. It has a pretty decent win rate. 602 trades. And it looks like there's like 20 of them. It's like 20 or 30 that didn't work. I remember those 20 trades. 97% win rate. That's insane. So which one should you trade? This one? I don't know. Depends on what works for you. We have lots of systems. You don't have to trade every single system to make money. You start with one, you expand from there. So ATS, what is it built around? It's built around 7 pillars designed to give you everything that you need and nothing that you don't. It's designed to put it all under one roof, one house, one program, so that you can be successful. There's nothing else you're going to need to buy. You don't need to go out and do other things. This is where you want to be. So, most traders, instead of guessing and trading alone and buying random education, we've talked about these things, the roadmap, all of that. The 7 pillars of the syndicate are professional assessment, private coaching, curated education, live trade rooms, complete software ecosystem, a blueprint, and a trading playbook. And we're going to give you all those in this program, where we're going to show you what that looks like. So let's dive into the pillars. First, let's look at 5 trades in 25 minutes for $5,600 trading with Striker. It's a pretty decent 5 minutes, or 25 minutes even. That's pretty solid. So pillar one is your assessment and strategy mapping. So this is where we sit down and we figure out, and this is a survey where you fill out where you're at, what your story is, what your journey looks like in trading, where have you been, where are you going, what's your goals. We need to know everything, because if we're going to coach you, we have to understand what are your strengths and weaknesses. What can we build on as a foundation? And what do we need to maybe clean up the foundations a little bit in some cases? So we're going to work with you to help you develop a personalized roadmap that is built on you, because your knowledge is different from somebody else's. Some of you might have been trading 5, 10 years. Some of you might have been trading for 1 year. But those journeys are going to be different in this program. We're going to give you an education path, show you exactly what you need to learn so that you can understand the strategy that you're trading and that you can move forward. Then we're going to help you build your strategy. We're going to help you understand what's going to work for you. Every student is different. Every trader is different. Some traders are going to trade the trend breaker. Some are going to trade one and done. Some are going to trade striker. Some are going to trade eventually all three. And then software. What software do you need in order to do your job? And the beauty is you're not going to have to pay for it, which is great. We've all spent enough money on that end. The objective is to build a trading business around you. It's not a one size fits all. Trifecta. This is a killer system. Many of you are familiar with it. I know a lot of the traders came to this boot camp and had a great time with it. It's a really killer trading strategy. It does very, very well. So this is one of the core systems as well. Pillar 2 is your private performance coaching. How many of you have ever worked with, well, let's put it this way. There's probably more of you. How many of you have never worked with a private coach in trading? Put a yes in the chat box if you've never worked, or put an N. It don't matter. How many of you have never worked with a private coach? No? Everybody's worked with a private coach?
Let's stop right there for a second, Jim. Let's do
Okay.
this. Do you actually think that a surgeon did not have a teacher for years? What about a pilot? Would you get in an airplane with a pilot that's never had personal coaching on how to fly a plane? So why would you take your money that you've worked your entire life for and you've put in years of your life for without getting proper coaching? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, if you actually want to become a master of something where you can literally make $5,000 a day and make more money than a doctor and a freaking pilot combined, right? Why not work with traders that are doing what you desperately want to do, right? It's not about coaching and maybe, oh, it comes at a cost and all that. Like think about that for a second. Like, if I was an NBA basketball player, I'm not going to get into the NBA without having coaching. I'm not going to be paid major league salaries without having major league help, right? So there's a correlation to what you're willing to put in and what you're willing to do versus what you can actually extract out of the market. Very, very, very few traders, in fact, less than 1% that I've ever seen in my history of the last 10 years of trading, including all the top influencers online, including everybody that says they're great, right? The only ones that I know, right, is that we, the best traders, always went through a proper coaching program. Okay. And we're the only program in the industry that does this. Why? Because coaching is very difficult to scale. So you can imagine we have lots of traders in this program. So we've systemized this so that we can help you properly because nobody else has the team nor the resources to do it properly. And so we spent months building out the coaching component where we can track your sessions and we're about ready to launch. I mean, Jim, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I have to. I
Yeah,
can't, I
go
can't,
for
I can't keep this quiet anymore. For the
it.
last month, Jim's built an AI dashboard that basically is for all of our coaches and all of our students where you can upload your trades, we can track your progression, we can track your coaching sessions. Anybody that's in this program is going to get access to a private portal that is specifically for them and their coach so that the coach can literally track how well you're proceeding, what you're struggling with. You'll have the ability to upload your questions and answers. Your sessions will be there, your trades. You'll be able to go over all your trades. You'll be able to go over all your goods and your bads. And like coaching is it's not just, oh, let's get on a Zoom call and talk a bunch of bullshit. Like there's a process to this and there's a system to this. And it's producing unrealistic results. And most traders are so skeptic. Most traders will sit there and say, "Oh, this and that," because you're a skeptic. Well, that's why you're struggling because your brain is wired backwards. And a good coach is going to call you on your shit. I had to be called on my shit. I thought I was a great trader until I looked at my stats and I wasn't a great trader. You can't lie to yourself. You can't blame other people. Look at this. This is exactly what we do for all of the students in the back end. This is a portal that you will get access to where you and your coach are going to be able to go through the things that are only specific for you. Nobody else gets to your portal. Nobody else gets the things you get to do. You can upload your trade logs so we can study your plan. We can look through all your details, right? We have the ability to go in and look at all the trades and we can go through the trades and then we can study it. And then there's an AI prospect that I don't even want to get into how sexy the AI stuff is, where you can actually like it's just bizarre. Like this doesn't exist in the industry. And we've invested hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars across the company to be able to build something that can take traders that are struggling for tens of years and turn them into something successful, right? And there's going to be a few people out there that just can't be helped. And you know who you are because your brain is backwards. And I'm not afraid to say it because I'm a very, very, very successful, profitable trader with stats to back it up. So some people might not like the bluntness, but you know what? I would rather somebody smack me in the chin and then make me extremely profitable than to sit here and waste the next 5 years of my life lying to myself. And I take it very seriously. I've had conversations with people that nearly got divorced because the shit ruins the family. This is real, guys. How many more years of your life do you want to waste behind the screens, clickety clicking, spending tens of thousands of dollars buying prop firms because you can't afford to put a cash account together because you don't trust your ability? It's the only reason people trade for prop firms because they're afraid to trade their own accounts. So let me explain something, guys. We can change your life. Take down the wall and be open to hear what we have to say. Now you can sense
Yeah.
the passion in my voice. Why? Because I've been doing this for 10 years. I've coached over 20,000 traders, right? There's a real system to this. And we invested in the coaching because you can't just become good at just being in a trading room. Trading rooms are great, but everybody has a little bit of a different approach to learning. Some people learn by visual cues. Some people learn by auditorial cues, right? Some people learn by watching. Some people hearing. Some people need somebody to hold their hand and say, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is how you fix it, right? That's what we do here. It's very different than what you're used to doing. Okay. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
get so excited about this shit, Jim, because I just see what it's doing and I know the results of the systems we're trading. It's just beyond what anybody else is doing.
What was really interesting to that end, we right now we're using Google Sheets. It's serving a purpose. It's doing what we need it to do. The traders are going in, they're logging their trades. And I thought, well, let's go ahead and, as the head of education, let's go in and see how are the traders doing so far in their progress. Are they logging their trades? Are they taking screenshots? All that. And all of you guys know that we do that. Um, I was shocked. Honestly, I was like, I knew the program was good, but hold on a second. You know that almost all of the traders that I went in to look at their stats, and mind you, I didn't stop at like five. I went to like 20 to 25 traders, and they had win rates that would make your head spin. I mean, it's not just us that's getting 75 85, 95% win rates here. We have the traders in this program are seeing 80% plus win rates. Then it's almost across the board. It's astonishing. So, what I'm telling you is that this program absolutely works because it's built on what worked for me, what worked for the other traders. So it's pretty incredible. And mind you, these people have only gotten to their first coaching session. They haven't gotten to the second or the third. There's three included. So you get three private coaching sessions. The first one is designed to help you understand building out your trade plan and getting everything up and running and going through your assessment with you. The second is about how do you execute on that strategy. And we have an execution score that your coach will do with you to help grade every trade that you take. And that execution score, you can actually see it right here, 4.2 out of 5. Now, this is obviously an example on the dev side of things, but you can see how is your execution score going? Is it getting better? Because the key to being able to trade a successful trade plan or trade a trade plan successfully is to execute the trade plan. If you don't follow the trade plan, how do you know if the trade plan works? You can't because you're not even following it because you don't believe in it. That's why when we say, I know what to do, but I don't do it, it's because you don't believe in the plan that you have. And we're here to fix that. So clear action plans. And then stage three, the third, is meant to say, what else is left? What else do we need to cover together? How is that trade plan going? Now that we know that you can actually execute the plan, you can actually be disciplined as a trader. Now that we know that, then we're going to focus more on making your trade plan the best it can possibly be. Okay. Another core system, order flow. I love it. Many traders love it. It's a really killer way to trade. We have order flow strategies that are killer that we can work with you on as well. Pillar three. So, how many of you have been to one of the boot camps that Sean does? Anybody been to the 5-in-1 or the market profiles and volume profiles
Trifecta,
or the
hat,
trifecta or the hat and the list goes on, trend breaker.
liquidity, striker, like
Yeah.
liquidity, 3 BP
None
patterns,
of you guys have
multi-time.
ever been to those? Give me a yes in the chat box. Any of you guys ever been to those? Nobody?
Wow.
Oh man. We
You're
better
missing out. You're missing out.
we,
Yeah, this is serious. Like there's a lot that you guys are missing out on here right now, and I think this is the reason why a lot of traders aren't making a lot of money.
It's interesting. Yeah, these are really inexpensive education sessions. That's interesting to me. Okay, well, here's the deal. The good thing is we've done a bunch of them. We just rattled a bunch of them off. When you join the ATS, you get access to all of those. All of the recordings are included. Plus, when we do boot camps in the future, you get to come and you don't have to pay because you're VIP. You've already paid your way and you get to come into all of the strategy boot camps. Okay. So trend trading, scalping, day trading, all of it. We cover
The
all of
boot
it.
camps, hey Jim, like just to share the little, like I find that the boot camps, it's like a master's degree, right? So like I find like there's different ways in which traders absorb the education, right? There's the trading room, there's the online portals for the videos, but I hold strategic boot camps specifically because we want to dial in one strategy and like dissect it, right? Like go in and like with a fine tooth comb and like everything. So like we did stuff on liquidity, liquidity sweeps, multi-time frame liquidity, trend breaker, multi-time frame, day trading, swing trades. But then we went into order flow. We talked about how to use order flow, and then we did another one on like momentum scalping and pullback trading, and then we did another one on trend breaker systems. We did another one on the hat system, which was volume based. And so, like all of these different boot camps, what we do is we silo the system, and we talk about everything, like because every strategy is a bit different, right? Like the way you trade order flow is not the way you trade the opening range, right? The way you trade multi-time frame liquidity levels is not the way you trade momentum scalping on a 1 minute chart. So we have to take them independently. And I truly, in my since the last year and a half of doing these, this is where the best traders come out of. Like I know guys that are posting in the community, and the guys have emailed me, and if anybody wants to see those emails, just let me know. I'll send them to you. Is I've got guys that are making more money now out of the boot camps than I've ever seen them do. Like I had a guy email me last week, says, Sean, like the last boot camp you did, he's been trading with us since 2015. He's never been more profitable in the last 2 weeks because of the last boot camp. And like everybody's going to have their own aha moments. But these boot camps, normally we're charging, 700 to $1,000 a pop plus 3 grand for the upgrade XLT programs and stuff. We just give them to you. Like in the program here, you just get them, right? So if you miss the boot camps, who cares? All of the sessions were video recorded, all of the resources there to download. You miss nothing. And at any time, if you have a question, you just email us. We go over the stuff with you. So like this is beyond like imagine, when you go to YouTube and you watch a bunch of somebody's videos and you love what they're doing, and then they charge you a $5,000 course, right? Imagine having like 10 of those without having to pay for them, right? It's all part of the ATS. Like this is where the real excitement for me comes because I know what's in those boot camps. Like
Yeah.
that's my life's work. 10 years of my experience went into those boot camps. We've got
Yeah.
instructors and we've got trade rooms, and that's great. But like as a master trader who teaches instructors how to trade, I put everything I've ever done and learned into those boot camps, and you guys get them for free, which
Yep.
is bizarre.
Speaking of, here's an example of some trades
That's
off
my
of,
trade right there.
volume
Yeah, that's my
volume
trade. What are you
profile.
talking about?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Auction trading, right? So killer. Pillar 4, you get access to the live trading rooms. This is something that we call earn while you learn. The idea behind this, again, we asked how many of you want to wait 3 months versus start making money next week. Earn while you learn is the idea behind that because we don't think that you should have to wait that long. We have a we have very capable educators across the board, but Jeffrey runs our futures trade room, and I'm going to pull up his trade log because it's important to seeing is believing, right? So when we talk about 82% win rates, we're not making it up. When we talk about 645 trades on Trendbreaker and 723 trades on Striker and 982 one and done trades. They're all logged in here. And if you want to go in and see pictures of the trades, you can do that as well. In fact, I'll just post the link here, and you guys are welcome to go in and look at this anytime. So we log this 86%, 86%, 90%, 88%. We have very incredible instructors. So if our instructor is doing this and trading in front of you and calling out those trades in advance, wouldn't it be in your best interest to do the same thing? If we just look at the last 20 trades, we're 16 out of 20. And we had a little rough run there. But then you look at the next, 25, like 24 out of 25. I mean, it's insane. Anyway, you get the idea. When you come to the trade room, all you need to do is show up, take the same trades. There's wins, there's plenty of wins, plenty of ways for you to make money while you're still learning the setups and things like that.
Let's
So,
talk about that for a second, Jim.
yeah,
I'm gonna share something here because
sure.
the biggest hang up for me is time. Like when I do stuff, like I'm not getting any younger, right? Nobody is, right? Everybody in this meeting is battling time. And we all have this little dark cloud beside us saying, Jesus, Mick, I've been doing this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long it is. Everybody's personal vendetta with themselves about the time. You can't get the time back. However long you've been trading, however long you've been doing this, you can't go back and change the past, right? But if I'm going to do something in the future, we all want things faster, right? We all want quick fix. The disease of more, right? It's like if I want it now. And God forbid, right? As God is my witness, I know for a fact that if I want to do something and I'm set on doing it, I don't want to wait months to see results. I don't want to wait weeks. If I buy something today, I want to use it today. I want to benefit from it today. I want results today. So what we do is the trade instructors cannot trade or cannot run a room unless they trade. Like one of our company policies is you must trade with the orders and the fills in the room. Win, lose, or draw, we come out on top, and every trader can copy those trades. So yes, you can literally copy the exact same trades of the instructor every single day, which means you can start making money as soon as tomorrow. If you booked a call with our team today, decided to move forward, you could be copying those trades tomorrow.
Mhm.
Not next week, not next month, tomorrow, which means you can start making money tomorrow. Go back to that trade log. Look at today's results. There's a lot of people today that said, no, what's the fourth? Those are all wins. That's all wins today in our trade room. So
Five for five.
if you copied those trades, 5 for 5, right? Now I'm not saying you're going to copy every one of them, but that's what you have access to, right? And this is important, right? I've been in this business since NinjaTrader started. I was the first guest panel speaker on Top Step when they launched Top Step with Michael Patak. I was the first speaker that NinjaTrader ever did, right? For their first multi-speaker event. And I remember back then I ran the largest order flow trading room in the world, right? And I'm going to tell you straight, nobody ever tracks logs like this. Nobody, not a single educator in the world tracked 3,000 trades. So you can pick and choose who you choose to be a part of, who you choose to follow, who you choose to judge. But I'm telling you here, I know where we'll be next month and next month and next month after that. I can tell you, like, the stats aren't going to change.
Yeah.
Stats don't change after 3 years of being consistently the same. They just stay the same, consistent. And you'll be
Yeah.
able to copy those trades tomorrow.
Hmm. Yep.
That's a boot camp trade.
Yes, this is another boot camp trade.
Yeah,
Higher time frame liquidity sweeps.
that was a big one.
Massive trades.
Yeah. I teach those to people that want to trade big swing trades. And if you want to do that, just send me an email in there and I'll meet with you guys inside the program. We'll have a session.
Mhm.
That stuff gets my blood pumping.
Yeah. Good stuff. How many of you bought some indicators before? Anybody here ever bought an indicator? What if you didn't ever have to buy another indicator again because you got all of them? Everything comes with the ATS program. All of the indicators that Tickblaze Marketplace has available that are in-house that aren't available through, let's say, a third party or something like that. All of the indicators. Now, this doesn't include the algos. You can still get the algos too if you want. You get a huge discount if you want to buy algos as part of this program too. But you get all the indicators. So when we talk about auto div and the one and done forecaster and order flow signal pack and profile pack, everything comes with. So no more having to buy additional tools and so on. We do teach you how to trade prop firms. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Absolutely, we do. Here's some auto divergence trades, trading with auto divergence. There's other things that go into this too. Obviously, it's a system. It's not just here's an indicator, take a trade. But this is another, example of boot camp trades that you would get access to. Pillar 6, speaking of, Craig, good timing. Do you teach us how to trade for prop firms? How many of you are trading with prop firms? Give me a yes in the chat box. Trading prop firms. Most traders want to trade with prop firms. Why not? Trade somebody else's money. Why risk your own money, right? Yeah, absolutely. So we do teach prop trading. And in fact, I'm going to geek out with you here for a second. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a risk planner. Now this one is not filled out. Let me refresh because I fell. Yeah, okay. That's okay. Anyway, I was going to geek out and show you the coaching portal again because all of the risk management is built in to the coaching portal. So you tell us, or you tell the system, how many trades per day, how many winners, how many losers, what's your win rate, what's your win-loss ratio. You put these things in, and if you're logging your trades, it does it automatically for you, which is really cool. But you put this data in. And guess what the system does? It tells you how much to risk per trade. Now, obviously, it's still your risk, and you have to acknowledge that risk. But it'll give you ideas on what is suggested for prop trading specifically. How much is your max drawdown? How much? Yeah, that's okay. How much is your max drawdown? How much is your daily drawdown? How much is your risk per trade? All of that. We've done all of that heavy lifting for you, and it's not based on it might work, it could work. I you know, the head of risk for a prop firm is the one that built that system. Okay, so it's not just like somebody who didn't know anything about prop trading. I've been trading for prop firms since 2012. So I've learned the hard way what works and what doesn't. And the number one reason traders fail is because they over leverage. So we're going to help you understand exactly how much to risk per trade.
One thing I want to mention to this is multi-propping, Jim.
Yeah.
So it's not good enough to just trade for one prop firm, right? The goal would be to multi-prop, right? You want to get good first because you have to be good. You're
Mhm.
not going to go buy accounts with a whole bunch of firms, but the goal isn't for you to just trade for a prop firm. The goal is for you to trade for as many prop firms as you can understand their model. So what you do, that there's a bunch of firms, and I know because I own one of them, but there's a few others that are also very similar to ours. And what we do is like we all have very, very similar rules. We have similar drawdown structures, similar rules, similar MAE. So what we do is we teach you those rules so that you master it, right? We teach you how to manage the risk for prop firms. But then once it clicks and you're like, okay, got this, right? And you understand the risk side of it for prop firms, then you go out and you feel comfortable buying 5 accounts with this firm, 5 accounts with that firm, 5 accounts, because the return on investment for prop firm trading is beyond anything you'll ever see, right? You can buy an account for $150 and you can get up to 12,000 in payouts per account, right? And that's
Mhm.
not just with Prop Shop, that's with Lucid, that's with Apex, that's with Top Step, that's with a whole bunch of other firms, right? Tradeify, et cetera. So what you can do is you got to get good where you feel, okay, I'm ready to do this. But when you're ready, we don't want you to just go and trade for one firm. We want you to trade for as many as you can possibly handle. And what you do is today you trade with one firm accounts. You make your nut on the one and then you switch to the other prop firm and you trade those. I know guys that are going to trade like one strategy in the morning on one prop, hit their max daily goal. They flip to the other accounts, they trade another. They're getting payouts from like 5 or 6 different firms a week, right? So that's how you max out where you could be making 50, 60, $70,000 a month without having to have a cash account, right? Most people that make really big money have cash accounts because they can trade it differently. But if you're a prop firm trader, we're going to teach you not just how to trade for a prop firm, we're going to teach you how to trade multi-prop, which is
Mhm.
critically important.
Scaling. Scaling the strategy. That's exactly how we do it. Right. Good stuff. More trifecta trades. That's a different image, but more of the same trades. Let's talk about the academy. Speaking of learning, we're going to give you, like we talked about, a custom roadmap to learning. What do you need to learn? What do you not? So there's certain things in your strategy that you're going to need to understand. And so some of those prerequisites are all built into the academy. There's hundreds of hours of videos in there. You're not going to watch all of them, but you can go in and learn what you need to learn. And then when you are ready to, let's say you want to start trading stocks on swing trading on a cash account, go for it. You could do that on your stocks accounts. That we have stocks education in there, for example. So, beginner to advanced, there is some advanced stuff in there. We're going to talk about structure and mapping out your charts and understanding liquidity and understanding how the market moves and where it moves and why. All of this is built in, and again, it all comes with as a value add. So, in summary, what does this program do for you? It's not just about solving problems. Yes, it's going to do that. It's going to do it incredibly efficiently, but it's about scaling success. So, a lot of us as traders have been taught and ingrained and trained inadvertently to think about how difficult things are and how much of a challenge it is and how traders struggle and they fail accounts and all this. Yeah, but what about the traders who are successful? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about stories of traders who actually are successful? We don't need to even just look so much at how hard it was for them to get there. We look at, okay, what do I need to do to be successful? Your journey is different than theirs was. The problems you had as a trader are different than theirs. So we're not just talking about what does this solve? It solves everything you need it to solve: risk management, execution, strategy, psychology, accountability, and development. But you already know that. I suspect that everybody who came into this presentation today already knew that this program would solve all your problems. The question that still lingers in your mind is, how do I get to true success? For everybody, that's something different. How do I get to true freedom and consistency as a trader? That's what this is about. It's not just about solving your problems, it's about scaling your success. Okay, so if you take anything away from this today, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so what happens if you don't change anything? Well, it's more of the same. Nothing changes unless you decide to make a change. Time is money. Let me hear that. Time is money.
I
Every day
want to
that you,
I gotta say something here, Jim, because it's not just about time, man. If nothing changes, your life's gonna fucking suck. I'm sorry, but like I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not trying to cuss on the mic, but I've seen traders cry on the phone with me
Mhm.
because they've wasted 5 years of their life breaking even and losing money. This is real. Like I know we're doing a presentation, and I know Jim's gonna send me an email. You can't say that on the mic. Listen, guys. Listen, guys. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. Whoever's in here that is listening to my words, let me speak truth unto your heart. Trading is not an easy business. It is one of the hardest things you will ever do in your life. It is harder than any other career you will ever try. Why? Because it is the only industry that changes every single day. There is never single one day that will ever be the same. And so if
Mhm.
you do not get good at this fast and follow the right guidance and be a part of the right group, your life is going to be chaos. Because when you get up in the morning, you have your best of intentions. You sit down and you open up your screens, and then all of a sudden you lose a shitload of money. And then that trickles into your family, and then it trickles into your health, and then it trickles into everything else. And then guess what happens? You become a different person. And that's not what God wants for you, and that's not what I want for you. That's not what anybody wants for you, because I know you guys want the right things here. But you have to have an open mind. You have to take the walls down. You got to take the buyer's remorse because you spent a lot of money in the past and it didn't work. All that shit don't matter. What matters is if you're profitable, take great. But if you're not, hear these words. In a very short period of time, we can change your outcome. But if you don't make the right choice, you have to be responsible for making the wrong choice. You have a choice. How many of you guys are ready to make a massive change today? Just type a yes if you're serious. I know that some of you probably have questions about money and time and this. We'll get through all that. But after everything that we've talked about here, you can sense the intensity and the honesty in my voice. I'm serious here. I'm going to show you my stats in a second. How many of you guys are ready to make a change? Type a yes in the chat box. Chris says yes. Brian says yes. Come on, guys, be honest with yourself, right? If in a year from now you're going to be making a whack load of money, you're going to be thanking me. David says yes. Hugo said yes, right? Right. And
Mm.
exactly. Wouldn't have lost all my retirement funds on all the scammers out there, Marine says. Exactly. Had I've known about Tickblaze and Prop earlier, I would not have lost all this money. Right. I would, but I've been burnt so many times, Andre. Exactly. So this is, do you see what I just did, guys? Honestly, and Jim, just look at this for a second. I
Mhm.
got honest with you. I'm speaking truth with you. A lot of you, do you want to know what I did when I first got out of college? I was so excited, man. Like I was a fisherman. I used to be sponsored by Cabela's. I had it all set. I said, no, I'm going to college. I want to learn how to do finance. I used to work on the oil rigs. I was doing it all. But then I said, you know what? I started trading stocks. I made $1,000 in a day. And I was like, oh, that's it. I know what I want to do. I want to be a trader. So for 3 years, I went to college, right? And I saved up money and I worked all summer. I put myself through college. I worked my ass off. I saved up all this money. And then right after I graduated, I went to Toronto and I spent $25,000 on a trading course. And you know what I did? I remember, wow, I worked 3 years to make that money. $25,000 getting out of college for a young little kid coming out of school is a lot of money, right? I spent it all in one day on a trading course because a sleazy salesman sold me a freaking course and sold me the dream and sold me the heavens. Did I make a single dollar on that program? God, no. Best thing that ever happened to me because giving me the foundation for building everything that program didn't. So that I knew when I decided to be a great trader 10 years later, I knew I would give everything that I never got when I spent 25, $30,000 on a program, right? So the lesson here is if anybody knows what you've been going through with buyer's remorse and feeling like you got burned, it's me. I worked 3 years in college to buy my trading course. How many days working in the rain? I was doing people's lawns and paving driveways. I was putting myself through school and saving to take a trading course, right? I'm telling you, I understand firsthand what it's like to be ripped off by a bunch of people that sell you the sizzle. And I'm telling you, this ain't it, right? I got results. You're going to see it soon.
Yep. And this, we add this slide in here. Obviously, this is me on the mic and this is my story. But I use this story as an example because when I took over the trading room and started teaching the trading room years ago, I had a coach. That coach's name was Sean Kozak. For those of you that know Sean, he can be a little intense.
Yep.
Try doing one-on-one coaching with him, not just as a student who paid him to coach you, but as an employee. You want to talk about pressure? That's pressure, okay? But it works. The pressure works because it holds you accountable. It keeps you focused on your framework. It calls out the BS when you're not following that framework. And it says, why didn't you take this trade? This one qualifies. Why did you take this one? This didn't qualify. And it works. And today I'm extremely successful as a trader, extremely successful. And that I owe a lot of that to my coach. Thank you, Sean, who was happy to call me out and hold my feet to the flame. And so when we talk about If you notice one number on this page, I want you to look this up, and it's expectancy versus risk. So look this up, expectancy versus risk, and then look at where you might be today and where do you want to get to, because this is everything. And everybody thinks profit factor, profit factor. No, expectancy versus what you're willing to risk on a trade. That's what matters. And by the way, that's a very good number. So anyway, we could look at more trade examples and do all that, but really, I think this is a good time to, turn it
Let-
over to Sean, who's going to show you some things on trades and numbers and all that. We've looked at everything that's included. One thing I want to mention before we go to the charts, because I'm going to run a poll here in a second, because I want to know who's in it to win it. We offer a 100% money back success guarantee in this program. That's how sure we are that this will help you as a trader.
Exactly.
You will be successful coming into this program if you show up and if you do the work. If you complete your assessment, you attend your coaching, you follow the roadmap, you participate, you're at the trade room, you're taking the trades, you implement the framework, and you stay accountable to what we're telling you and showing you and helping you with, you will be successful. And we know that because I've done this. It works. It absolutely works. So
Can we go back to
it'll
the
work
offer
for you.
slide for a second? I want to talk about the number.
Uh-huh.
So normally, guys, okay, for us to do something like this, because of the one-on-one coaching component and the time component and like the all the systems and all the stuff we do, you're looking at 50,000 plus, not even close. What we've done, this is what it's worth. This isn't what you pay. You don't have to worry about doing this. You can book a call with Jason. He'll go over the pricing, all that stuff. He's the master of all this, and he's got we we've got hundreds of traders that have taken advantage of this because well, we guarantee the result. Like we get like if you do everything that we show you how to do, you cannot fail at this. If you're not doing what we're doing, you're gonna fail. But then we'll know you're not doing it because oh, well, you didn't do that right. Well, why did you not? If you're doing what we do, you're gonna make everything work. That's the point. And the point is to make sure that you can identify when you don't do what we're doing, right? That's the key. And so we can sit there and talk about this and that and value that and this, but the point is that we've put together this program to make it extremely affordable for you. It's worth over 60 grand. You don't have to ever buy software ever again. You get all the future launches in the marketplace, which we got one next week coming out. It's going to be huge, right? And you don't even have to pay for this stuff. This is the diamond hand service. You get the best of the best in the industry, plus you get coaching. And let me share my stats. How many of you guys want to see what I did in the last 6 days just trading these two systems? I'm going to show it to you. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to show you that it's actually, let me a second here. I got too much stuff here. 1 second here. Too many things on the chart. There we go. How's that? Can you guys see that? Type of
Mhm.
yes, you can see this. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to scroll this up. We can see this here. We'll grab this up so you can just see this. And so I started last Monday. Okay. And I have a folder. I take all the screenshots. I'll show you the screenshots. No problem, right? The point of the matter is that this is me every single day. Okay. And I'm averaging about 10 grand a day, right? It's $100,000 account, not a prop account. It's a $100,000 account. I'm risking 2.5 to 5% on every single trade because I'm an experienced trader. I'm averaging 10 to 15 grand a day. Okay. So like even if you went 1/10 of that size, you're making $1,000 a day. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to scale up size just yet. But like $1,000 a day, I worked 16 hours on the oil rigs to make $350 a day after taxes. I was covered in caustic soda and oil in the Arctic. You know what I mean? Like $500 a day is a good income. $1,000 a day is more than a doctor makes, right? So when you think about what you can do here, right? Let's talk about today. Okay. I traded two systems today and I traded them flawless. How? Because I have rules. We have mathematical rules that will tell you exactly when to trade the breakouts and when not to trade the breakouts. We have mathematical rules that will tell you when to trade reversals and not to trade the reversals. We have strategies that will basically keep you on the right side of the trend so that if you're going to trade trend trades, okay, and you're going to make decisions as a trend trader, right, you can ultimately trade the right markets for the right reasons and understand the relationship between those markets so that you make money on a consistent basis, right? It's not about what you know, it's about knowing the right things. You guys all know a lot. Like Jim said earlier, information's not going to fix your problem. Systems and process is. It's why good businesses make a lot of money. It's why you may not eat at McDonald's, but they're a McDonald's business system. Everything is systemized. It's why they're $1 billion company, right? So trading isn't about making money. It's about having your process dialed in so that every day when the market's different, because tomorrow is going to be different than today, within 5 minutes or less, you can make an assessment of what that is and act on it quickly without being afraid that you're going to get smoked. And this is the difference between a good trader and a great trader because I welcome the unpredictability of the markets. I get up every morning saying, ha, you are not going to pull wool over my eyes because I already know how to assess that. And that's the difference with what you get with us is that we're going to get you to a point where you're never driven by fear again. Traders are driven by fear. And the problem with fear is that it just pollutes your decision making. And the reason you have fear is because you have losses, you have inconsistency. And let me ask you a question. Do you think I started off with wins today or what? You guys tell me. Do you think I lost a trade today? Yes or no? Anybody? I was down 6 grand before I came up eight. Earlier yesterday, I was down 12 before I came up 15. A good trader knows that if a stop loss happens, the system still produces the next trade and the next trade and the next trade. And normally, when you come out the gates and you hit wins, you feel like $1 million. What really makes the difference is when you ultimately know that if you have a slap in the face when you start the day, it doesn't phase you, right? And that's the difference between knowing your system works and makes a lot of money versus not, right? I have no problem taking a loss because I know I'm going to end profitable no matter what. That is ultimately where you want to get to. And I'm telling you guys that your life can change if you give us an opportunity to do so. But you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to listen to the right people and ask the right questions, right? And we're going to give you the foundation, but you got to show up and you got to be there with us. And that's what Jim and Jason and the team are here to do to help you guys, right? And I will come into the room with our instructors and teach you some of the master stuff with our guys when we do it. But my guys are some of the best in the space, right? And I'm excited to see where you will be in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not a month, not 90 days, a week or two, right? Like that's I actually think you guys can turn this over within a couple weeks. And that's the point, right? So don't worry about price. Price isn't an issue. Jason's going to help you out. Jason's going to take care of you. He's got everything dialed in for you to go over all the details. All you need to remember is that we guarantee success, right? I can't guarantee how much money you're going to make, but I can guarantee that we're going to change you from the core out. And we're so willing to stand by that. It's a money back guarantee. Now we have a process to validate that guarantee to make sure that you did everything we said you're going to do, because not yet have we had one person that broke this because there's no need for them to get a refund. They've
Yeah.
been successful.
Hmm.
That's the point.
Hmm.
That's the point, right? So,
Cool.
Jim, let's start with just answering any questions. If anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat box.
Hmm.
Um, Did you guys enjoy the presentation? Type a Y in the chat box if you found something informative, you learned something, you enjoyed it, you heard what you came to hear. Um, Great. Type a C in the chat box if you're ready to book a call with our team. I just want to know how many of you guys are going to do that. There's a poll here as well, but I want to know how many of you guys are serious about changing your destiny because we can ultimately change your life realistically, but you gotta book a call with Jason, right? Yeah, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain, ain't Andrea? Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the whole point, right? So but if everybody could just answer the poll, that would be great. Even if it's a no, hey, listen, sometimes I'm as hard-headed as anybody, and I need to come to a few of these to finally really realize, okay, this is what I've been needing, and just come back next week. We're going to be doing these presentations every single week forever,
Hmm.
and eventually you're just going to see that the success doesn't change. And if you're not making money, eventually you're just going to say, I need to be a part of this. So it's kind of like kill them with kindness, so to speak. It's like no hard sales pitch, no bullshit, no nothing. It's really show up and participate, and you can't go wrong, right? So, if you put your phone number in, I know a few of you put, I'd like to speak to somebody first. Just put your phone number in the bottom, and can
Yeah.
you do me a favor just in the chat box? Everybody here that wants to speak to us, just put a C in the chat box. Just put a C in the chat box so that Jason and I know who you are just from a name perspective. Andrea, great, perfect. Everybody here that put yes, I'm ready and all that stuff, just put a C in the chat box. Chris is ready, great. Everybody else, I know there's a few of you guys that are putting yes in here. If you could just put a C in the chat box so that Jason and I know, be great to talk to you guys. And nobody can see your answer. It's just us. Don't worry. Your anonymity is protected, right? Appreciate you guys. Yeah. And put your phone number in the poll. There's an opportunity for you to do that. Yeah. Right.
I'm also pasting a link here. So on this link, and I encourage you all to go to this link and watch this really killer video. No, there's really good info in here. It talks more about the program. All the details are in here, and then everything that's included is in here as well. But at the top and at the bottom, this is where you go to book your free strategy session with Jason. So just click this and we'll ask you a couple questions. Schedule a time that works for you. Again, this is just designed to help you answer all of your questions so that you can be sure that this is 100% what you're looking for and that you're a fit for the program too. So we want to make sure that, you're ready for this as well. So, George,
George, let me answer that one because we have a special package for people that want one or the other, or maybe both. If you have your eyes set on both of them, George, and you're having a hard time choosing, we can put something custom together if you want both, and we'll work with you to do that, to make it affordable over time with you and just do those things. Talk to Jason. Jason's your guy, right?
Mhm,
So it's really, I can't say one is better than the other because they're the same systems. One is
mhm,
discretionary trading and one is using automated systems. So, similar strategies. Both programs run some of the same systems. We're going to be running the same algos as the other programs, so there's an overlap between the systems, but it just depends on what you want, right? Um, if you want algos, AQS is your key, right? And if you want discretionary, there's a lot that went for both, and there's a reason because some traders like to do both, right? So George, book a call, and Jason can go over the foundation for the dual program. Yeah, makes sense.
good stuff. Any other questions before we wrap up and call it an event? Call it good to go. Anybody? Anybody? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, this is I already know there's a lot of people that have already said yes, and yeah,
Hmm.
thanks John and thanks George and Chris and Andrea and everybody here that's enjoyed this. Um, we just really try to come at it from a place of reality and proof, and we've been in this space so long that sales pitches just don't work anymore. It's like people can see through it, people can sense the bullshit, people can know what's genuinely good and what's not, right? And so, if you're seriously looking to make a change, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just book a call. Book a
Hmm.
call, and it'll be either the right time or it won't be. But at least you got the information that you need to make an educated decision, right? So, guys, have a fantastic day. Thanks, Jim, as always, master of the mic and risk, as always. And Pete and the team for taking care of everything in the back end. And Jason is going to, uh, Andrea says, I wasn't going to stay on this call if this was a sales pitch. So thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's good.
I'm grateful to hear that. Kurt says, thank you for the products. Yeah, not a problem, Kurt. And that's the whole point, right? And if you have friends or if you have family that's out there struggling or they need help, just send them to one of our events, right? Like it's free. These webinars are free and shows you what's real, right? And you're in good hands.
Good,
Jason will take good
good,
care of
good.
you. He's the master behind the mic here. So make sure you get booked on his calendar right away because his calendar fills up ridiculously fast. Like you can't even get a meeting with him. Like I tried to get a meeting with him last week. He's like, I can't till next week. I'm like, really? You're talking to that many traders, right? And it's so like that's not to boast, but I'm just telling you that if you're serious and you want to start making money quickly, talk to Jason, book as soon as possible. Get the
Mhm.
information you need so you can make a decision.
Yep.
Right, guys?
Good.
Have a fantastic day. Thanks for everything.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Take care.